No one's laughing when they're filling up their tank these days. The president's solution? Well, Mr. Biden is now considering a gas tax holiday, a move that could save you about 18 cents a gallon. Isn't this just a gimmick, though? A rehashed idea that John McCain and Hillary Clinton floated during the 2008 presidential campaign? Joe Biden's old boss thought so.
This gas tax, which was first proposed by John McCain and then quickly adopted by Senator Clinton, is a classic Washington gimmick. It is a political response to a serious problem that we have neglected for decades.
It's going to take more than gimmicks to fix this issue. Check out Anderson Cooper's reaction when he finds out just how much of an impact inflation is having on Joe Biden and the Democrats this midterm election year.
But it's inflation that is driving these numbers and driving the numbers on the economy and driving the negative perceptions of Biden. And not surprisingly, voters are running the other way, going to Republican.
Voters running the other way. Let's discuss this now with Joe Conason. He's the editor-in-chief of the National Memo. Joe, great to have you back.
Good to be with you, John.
All right, so just last week, that same CNN analyst made headlines for saying that Joe Biden is doing worse than Jimmy Carter. So we wanted to pick up on that and make that the topic of our debate this weekend. Is Joe Biden worse than Jimmy Carter? First to you, Joe. What do you say?
Well, that's a pretty broad question. I would say on the economy, certainly not. I mean, Jimmy Carter oversaw a period of what we called stagflation, and I'm old enough to remember it, John. It was quite bad. It involved very high levels of unemployment and high levels of inflation, high interest rates, worse than we have now in all categories. And, the inflation that we're suffering right now or enduring is a worldwide phenomenon. The OECD posted an inflation rate of over 9% last month worldwide. So that's worse than the United States. And, I think our employment figures and general economic growth are much better than the rest of the world throughout this period. Let's say we have to have 5% unemployment, as Larry Summers said, in order to bring inflation down. That's still a very low unemployment number, and the country could endure that very easily. So I think it's nonsense to say that he's worse than Jimmy Carter. I've heard that kind of rhetoric in the past, though. I heard it about Barack Obama in 2010. I heard it about Bill Clinton in 1994. And you know what happened in both of those cases, I bet you know.
Yes, I know. I know what happened. They did okay, after all.
They were reelected.
They were reelected. I don't overwhelmingly reelected, but this is a different situation. I don't think.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We will see about that. I mean, there was seemingly more willingness to suffer a recession underneath the Carter era economic team. Paul Volcker, of course, raised interest rates to the point to curb inflation. We see this piecemeal approach by the current Federal Reserve Bank. And, the other thing, too, and this is a broad question, fair enough, but, I kind of have a bias for Jimmy Carter. I grew up in Metro Atlanta, and I remember the post-presidency Jimmy Carter with Habitat for Humanity and everything he did on foreign policy. He also had the Camp David.
Jimmy Carter was a great man.
He had the Camp David peace accords during, and when you ask if Joe Biden is worse or not than Jimmy Carter, I factor those things into account. Joe Biden doesn't have anything like that on his record. Granted, he has not been in office for the full.
I don't agree
come on,
with that
Joe.
either,
There is nothing that remotely comes close to something like the Camp David peace accords.
You have to look at. Let's look at what he was left with. He was left with a Western alliance in shambles.
The Abraham Accords, strengthening NATO,
what about
a Western alliance in shambles. Come on.
Strengthening NATO? No. Strengthening NATO was not
means
something that Trump
asking
did.
these countries like Germany to pay their fair share, which they started to do.
No, Trump was getting ready to pull out of NATO, as you know very well.
No, he was not.
Would have been. Yes, he certainly. Well, that's what his advisors tell us. So I guess we'll find out.
Donald Trump was leveraging whatever the U.S. has left to force our NATO allies to get their heads in the game.
Biden has helped to rebuild the Western alliance and taken on Russia in Ukraine, which is exactly what he should do. And it's not easy, and we paid a price for it, but it's something that I believe had to be done. And he's doing it. And his leadership has been praised all over the world for that. So
if the whole world,
not a Middle East peace accord yet, but he's only been in office for a year.
Fair enough.
So you
Fair enough,
got to give him a little time.
You know who loves Jimmy Carter? That was Herbert Hoover, because he was no longer the worst president in recent memory. And then you know who loves Joe Biden
Nixon?
probably are the folks.
Nixon?
Oh,
well, forgetting Nixon?
Nixon was a great peacemaker too, Joe Conason.
Oh, well.
He never gave that order. There's no proof that he actually ordered the invasion.
he had to leave office under a bit of a cloud, John. But we can forget about that.
Controversy. Hey, yes, no president is defined by one thing, Joe. That's my belief.
You are a great debater, John.
Except for maybe Joe Biden, who will be defined by inflation for the rest of his life, and he doesn't have that
I don't know.
that leeway
We'll
that Jimmy Carter had after his presidency. He's not going to be around, unfortunately.
We'll see how he does after 2 terms. But
Okay, we'll see. We won't hold our breath. Joe Conason, great to see you.
Thank you, John.
Great debate as always.